Hey everybody, welcome back. It's me, as told by a widow. So, 1 minute, 1 second. Okay, I'm back. So, this is the second part of a video. Um, the first part, I kind of went off on a tangent. I got off topic. So, all right. So, my most watched video, 141 views, right? And the second runner up or the runner up to that video, 75 views, both of which was about dating post the transitioning of a spouse, right? Now, grant you that I don't really pay attention to views, um although those are important. It is just more important to me that I uh use my platform to basically keep widows and widowers encouraged, to let them know to that what they're going through, it gets better. You know, I love the song by what was it, Little Annie? Tomorrow, tomorrow, the sun will come out tomorrow. So there's always tomorrow. All right. So with that being said, to address this, and I think it's pretty interesting though, um, dating. And especially now, not just post transitioning of a spouse, but post a pandemic. And for those of you that are curious, I'm over 45. Yeah. So um dating, after 45, you know. So it can be interesting, to say to say the least. Um So let's get into it, right? I'm gonna sit back because don't mind me if I'm not all formal, because today was just one of those days that I put on a nice little sundress and just called it a day. So I'm gonna sit back and just be honest with you. So I'll come from the perspective of being a single person, done that. Being a single parent, I did that too before I met my husband. Being married, did that. And now as a widow who's ready, maybe, to date, you know? And that's a good question too. When is a widow ready? Right? Now, some of the things that I've come across as a widow um, in my 10 years since my husband transitioned is that healing is key. I know if you're watching this video, you do not want to hear anything about healing, okay? However, it's extremely important. I'll let you decide where it goes on your timeline, but take my word on it, it's extremely important. And that's because even in my widow group, I've seen um actually some widows and widowers who come together and um it's been some years since I've seen the couple, but I was told they're married and they had met and got together um probably within a year of each other's spouses passing. She had been in the program, probably the grief support group, probably about, I want to say, like 4 months maybe, and he probably was there probably about mm, like 90 days, 3 months. And it worked for them. So I'm not telling you that what order to put it in, okay? I can't tell you the outcome because no, they no longer come to the group, but um from what I'm told, or I hear in little, those micro groups within our group, that they're doing well. And from my own personal experience, for I attempted to date like around year 4, um, after my husband transitioned, and it did not. I mean, it wasn't horrible, but it was one of those situations for me where um, so I basically said, well, maybe healing need to take place now. I was like, in that moment I was like, what? you know but in hindsight, absolutely, because remember now, I didn't seek any counseling after my husband transition, probably until like the end of year 4. Yeah. And that was just a little bit here and there. And then around, and it gradually grew on me, and I found that this was a good space for me to be, you know, it through counseling and therapy and support groups. Oh yeah, I'm telling you, honey, those, don't sit on those. Get into those groups, okay? I'm tired. Seriously, I mean, I kid you not. Get in there, online, in person, however you can do it. Okay, all right. Now, dating, it can be interesting. Now, for me, I've been, I just, for me, let me just, I have been celibate for quite a few years. After I tried dating and came to grips with the fact that, you know what, I have way too much on my plate to try to entertain a relationship or even dating, right? And like I said, when I attempted to date that year, like later part of the 4th year, I was like, okay, maybe there's some truth to what everybody's saying. So between managing my children, our finances, um, and then also I moved my children um, from our home to be closer to our their grandparents and my parents and my husband's family. Um, Between that and I didn't sell our first house, so I was renting the home. So navigating the waters of a landlord, a very, a reputable one, and I just had a lot. So it wasn't like I just want to be very clear. It wasn't that I set out to be celibate. Okay. It was a situation of me, um, I just had a lot to do. And in the process of staying on top of all of my responsibilities, time was going by. So literally for years, every night when I went to bed, all I had time enough for was sleep. No conversation, none of that. And also in the interim, I went started grad school, so that you know was another added responsibility. Commitment, not so much responsibility. And it wasn't like I had a lot of time to myself because between work, 4 children now, um, where was there extra time? There wasn't any. And the way I found out that I was celibate, this is interesting now. Two of my sisters had children within the same year, one in February and the other in October. So when my sister had her baby in October, we were just sitting around. I was like, oh, just cooling over the baby and things like that. And my sister was like, so when you gonna get some in? I was like, where did that come from? We just sitting here talking about your new baby, and also that they made me an auntie for the first time. So my children are no longer the only grandchildren. And so I was like, where did that come from? So, well, and then let me add, I guess they tag teams. My sister, she started. So when you gonna get something? And then the other sister was like, well, yeah, Nicole, I haven't seen you with anybody. How is you okay? No, how did she say? You good? I was like, yeah. I was totally unaware of what was going on, right? And then they started throwing some names. They were like, so what do you think about such and such and this? And I was like, I guess they fine. I mean, I have no clue. I have way too much to do. So after a while, it dawns like, okay, y'all all in my personal business. Why? And then it came up. So when the last time you did it? When the last time you've been intimate with somebody? Right? I'm giving you the G-rated form, okay? And then it dawned on me, and I was like, yeah, and I did like, yeah. Mm, it's been, and I was like, oh my goodness, it's at that time I think it was like 3 years, and so it was like, you got to be lying. And I was like, and I thought about it and I thought it over again. I said, if anything changes, I'll let you guys know. But that's the number I'm coming up with. And so celibacy wasn't something that I just say, oh, I'm gonna go do this and I'm gonna abstain from sex and relationships. Mm-mm. I mean, it was just life. Life just happened to me. You know, it wasn't a struggle. I did not miss the intimacy of being with someone. Um, I just didn't. And now that at that time I had become aware of what I was doing, actually thought it was like, hey, just I don't know, I just felt really good about myself. And it felt like a how should I put it? It felt empowering. And it just seems like at that point, then I started thinking like, hey, if I can do three, I can do four, and I can do five. And however, as time went on, daughter goes off to college and she's graduates, so I mean she's still my responsibility, but not so much. My oldest daughter, I'm sorry, my youngest daughter graduated from high school and just completed her first year of college. So, in other words, it was like my level of the heaviness of my responsibility in my mind was starting to get lighter and lighter and lighter, right? My oldest son is 13, about to be 14 now. And so it's just like everybody's becoming more independent. They don't need, or a lot of times they don't want mommy around. Okay. So it opens up more time and space for me. So because I started grad school on the back end of all of this, so I'm down to my last four classes. So I'm like focusing more on that. And with that, I also started my own business. Uh, because once again, like I said, my level of responsibility was getting light. So I feel that was something I always wanted to do, and I started my own business. So, and it's still, in the process. I haven't opened the doors yet. I just finally got my articles of organization from the state, so I'm in the process of filing, certain documents and everything like that. So now that I've gotten that done, I'm really starting to feel like, hey, I want to date, you know, not so much being sexual with anyone, but just date. It could be because they have the time or a little bit more time on my hand, or that, or more likely that I've learned to manage my time better as a widow with, multiple commitments, and responsibilities. It may be a combination of all those. So, dating. I'm gonna be honest. because I'm a left brain type of person, this is what I come up with. All right. And that is, I'm not going to do it. No, I'm not doing Tinder because I'm not an online type of girl. That's just not me. I am, however, open to, like, if a friend um that I have high regards for, um do a little bit of matchmaking. I'll do something like that. However, I've done my research and I've actually got my list down to two organizations. Um, I'm going to a professional matchmaker. Bottom line, like that's just what I think will work for me. And it's not fear or anything like that. It's a simple fact that I know what I want. Like I said, I've been I lived a single life. I've lived a life as a single parent. I lived the life of a wife. I'm living as a widow. So taking all those experiences in consideration, I put down a list of things that I want. And I have a list of, my non-negotiables, you know. And because I've lived a life of celibacy and just being by myself, not so much by myself, but being living a life of a single person once again, but more wiser because like I said, I've lived through those relational levels. So at this point in my life, I know what I want. So you don't have to tell me, oh, you need to date a little this, a little that. Mm-mm. I did that at all those other four levels. At this point, I know what I want. All right. Now, I am open to change. However, so a little, it has to be some form of it's very minimal. Okay, let's just keep it real for me. So yeah, and I've researched a few professional matchmakers in my area, and I've come down with two or agencies, and that is the best route for me. And and one of the things, a few things that I looked for in an agency is one, because I'm a spiritual person and I'm a religious person. I'm a Christian. And so I definitely wanted an agency that took those two elements in consideration. Um, one, two, that specialize um, not, in assessing the applicants. You get what I'm saying? Not so much, and I'm sure they have computer software that they use, dating software they use to help, those certain algorithms and things like that. However, I wanted an agency that also sits down with their applicants, including myself, and do their own self in-person assessment of their applicants. That's very important to me. You know, um, like I said, computer algorithms, they're great, they're good. However, I just, because I am a spiritual person, I find that in-person energy and assessment is highly important as well. So I found two that say that they do that. So that's great. So also in that, there are a few basic things that um I came up with for myself that I know that I want. And of course, that'll vary. It'll vary, and for every person. I wrote a list, I want somebody that is emotionally mature, you know, as someone that is a great communicator, um, someone that is self-confident, someone that is kind, someone that is highly intelligent. I am one of those, what do you call those people that fall in love with nerves? I forgot, was it sapiosexual or something like that? I'm not sure, so don't quote me on that. I am looking for someone that is generous with their time. Um, Someone that is that respects me. I am looking for someone that is financially stable. That is important to me. I am looking for someone that is adventurous. Although I don't look like it, but I am very adventurous. My husband and I like just jump in the car and let's just go. And I'm looking for someone within my age range. Someone that's between 48 to about, I don't know, about 55, 56, you know. Um uh just somebody that's athletic as well. My husband was very athletic. I'm actually regaining my body back because after my husband passed away, oh my goodness, I gained so much weight. But yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I'm not apologetic about it. Um, and I think it's healthy for me. And it's just really a blessing that God um, led me in this direction, because during these years of being not it's I don't want to lean too much on celibacy. However, I find it to have been, and I still do, to be very um influential on my healing, or me becoming whole again, whole. And so by abstaining from a intimate and sexual relationship with anyone, it has proven to be very beneficial to me. It allowed my body to really take the energy of my husband that was in me and put it in its proper place. So, and not only, it helps to really just, it's like a cleansing for me, is what it does. And I find that to be very invigorating for me. Um, so how did I do celibacy? I was too busy doing everything else. Everything else. Yeah. I was too busy doing everything else. So it wasn't one of those things like, oh my God. Like, what am I gonna, oh, like, oh girl, I didn't have those issues. I did, you know. But I will tell you this. One day I was at a grocery store. This was some years back. I had just dropped the children off at school. This is in the morning time. That's normally, right after my husband had passed away, I would go to the grocery store during the AM time. And you know how the firefighters, they park their little engines in front of the grocery store. I paid it no attention. I just walked through the grocery store. And I see these firefighters. I guess they got a call, emergency call or whatever. So they started. I just entered the store. And I see this firefighter, one. It was just one. So he had the little clip on radio walkie talkie on his shirt. And why in the world did he have on this tight ass shirt? Excuse my language. So he would walk by me and I was like, literally, I was like, yeah, okay. I mean, I stopped in my steps, meet my break. I'm just there. Then another one came. Yes. Coming, all of them coming toward me, just passed me by. I'm like that. And all flavors. Chocolate, dark chocolate, white, all of it, and everything in between. Oh, when I say, oh my god, and they weren't running; they were like doing a trot, like yes. And I was just like that, like I could just smell the testosterone. I was like that. Oh, and then this, oh my goodness, this was just a gift from God. Then it's Samoan. He looked like he was Samoan, y'all. and he had the text on. He just can't have the clip on radio. He just trots by me, and I was like, I probably had my tongue out. I'm serious, and I was just like, and then I kid you not, to my right, I'm thinking I'm the only one that saw this, right? That had that particular experience in the supermarket, and then I hear a lady from my far right say, "Girl, yes, ooh, I get a lot. I love it when they come here." So I look back. It's the lady at customer service. I'm like, "Yeah, sis, I saw you. I saw you. I get to see them all the time." I was like, "Oh, okay." I felt a little embarrassed, so I couldn't really entertain her like I normally would. I was just like, "Oh my goodness." So you, I bring that up to say that it hasn't just always just been work, 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 and the feeling or the appeal of a mate, of a man, just went over my head. No, I still had those feelings, but they wasn't so overpowering where I felt like, oh, let me call whoop 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 whoop. No, it wasn't. It just wasn't, and it was like it was there, and then it was gone. You know. Now, with that being said, year 10. And now that I've, if you have a vision board, you know what I'm talking about. Or either just have a goal list. And I write my goals on a regular basis. I try to get to write them at least once a week, if not daily. And I check them off. And it's just like I'm just checking out so many of them, right? So now I have all this time. So I was talking to my best friend down in Jacksonville. And I said, well, you know I have a lot of time on my hand because we're talking longer. And she's like, I didn't want to say anything, but yeah, we are. Because normally our phone calls, either we're just talking via text or at best our phone calls will probably last 15, 20 minutes, because she's a business owner as well, a highly successful one. So kudos to my friend. And so it's like now I said, okay, let's try dating. So, and this video is only for adults. I probably should have said that in the beginning. I'll put it in the title. But, if I put it in the title, they're going to make them want to look. So I'll figure this out. Okay. But anyway, so in our conversation, I was just like, yeah, I was like, I told her about, going to a professional matchmaker. Although she feel like I should just do it on a more generic basis, just get out the house and just go out and just mingle. And I do that too. But you can't really do a lot of that post pandemic. At least I'm not doing that. I mean I do on a very yeah. So she basically led into, well, how do you know you're just not gonna, the first date you go on, you're just not gonna like want to go just basically hump this man, And I was like, first of all, that is not my personality, and you know that. And she's like, yes, I know that, but I also know that you hadn't been with anybody in quite a long time, in over 5 years. So what do you have in place to keep your physical body, you know, from, kind of taking over your rules and your regulations, your little. I was like, I don't have any rules and regulations. I just have boundaries. She said, oh, okay, but I'm telling you, somebody touch your knee or something like that. What do you have in place to keep certain things from exploding? So I was like, so we went back and forth about that. And it made sense. Excuse me, you guys. I need something to drink, like for real. So, with that being said, so she sends me this. This is my girl, and I love her. We've been friends since we were 12 years old. So she sends me this Adam and Eve was it a link through a text or something like that? So I click on it. I was like totally unaware of what it was. And I'm not a bashful person, right? So I click on it, I look around, and I was like, okay, let me call and see what is on her mind. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, she called, as she knew I was about to call. And she's like, yes, ma'am. I was like, what do you have going on? You sending me, a link to Adam and Eve. She said, well, don't be ashamed. She said, because I shop there. I said, oh, okay. Well, oh, okay. You have a husband though, so you don't really necessarily. But anyway, I'm gonna get into that. And she she basically said, she just kept it real. She was like, look, sis. She said, I love you. She said, I know that you're probably one of the most strong-minded persons that walk the planet. But I'm telling you, somebody that looks good and they breathe on you the right way, the panties gone. So to help get the edge off a little bit, just like just get you a couple of these to kind of get the edge off before you start, going on the dates that have been suggested to you by the matchmaking agency. And so I was just like, no. And after a while, I ain't gonna say after a while, after a couple of calls, she talked to me. We talked it through. I said, okay. It has an element of, I guess, preparedness, I guess, precaution to it. Get the edge off a little bit. Just gonna get a little edge off. So when you are on a date, you see somebody you meet and you like what they're saying, you like what you see, and you like how they smell, and you can be like, I like all this, but bro, I don't, baby, nah, being intimate is not something that I was looking forward to today or tonight, you know, and I can hold true to that, you know. So I have to, I'll have to follow up and let you guys know. But yeah, when you feel like that you're about to come out of celibacy. It's nothing wrong with, you know, taking the necessary precautions, to make sure that you stay within your boundaries. And I'm thankful that my friend brought that to my attention because I'm like, you know what? Thank you. Thank you so much, sis. I'm on it. Yes, I am. So to get that edge off, I'm gonna be good in so many ways. That's all I would say, okay? So yeah. So I'm gonna see how many views this gets. It's over 30 minutes. Oh my goodness. So, whatever you decide to do, once you get to that point as a widow or widower, and you say, "Well, I want to feel the warm embrace and of someone that brings me a deep level of intimacy and passion." You get what I'm saying? It's okay. You know, I don't want you to feel like you're, you know, how should I put it? Breaking any rules. Your spouse, whether the relationship was good or not, would not want you in a place where you're by yourself. You know, we're social beings. You know, but what I will say is, it is best to make sure that you are taken care of first. Okay. And what I mean by that is, make sure that you're in the process of healing. I'm not saying that you have to be completely over and healed. I'm not, no, I wouldn't suggest that. But I will say, make sure that you in the process of healing, or you're in the process of becoming whole. Okay. And know that you can do celibacy. You know, you can take an oath, or you can just say it to yourself, like, hey, I'm going to abstain from this so that I can focus on me, on this particular area of my life, of developing or redeveloping who I am. Because as a widow, that's something I had to do. I had to discover and rediscover my joys, my passions, and finally define who I am. I'm not a single parent anymore. I'm not single. I am a widow with children. Now, I don't get into titles. That's just a title that I have at this moment in my life on June 29th, 2021, assign myself to. Okay. And that doesn't mean that that'll be my situation June 29th of 2022. I may be a married woman. Okay. Happily married. You follow me? So healing is key. All right. And communicating with support groups and others that are walking the same walk that you're walking or has walked it. All right. Because even after I'm married, I would still want to just enlighten widows and widowers on their joy, their on their grief journey. All right. So that's about it. I want to see how many views this get. Adam and Eve get the edge off. That's no plug, but I'm just saying it makes sense, you know. So hey, my sis, she knew what she was talking about. All right, all right, all right. Be blessed and always remember, be intentional on your joy. All right, music, delicious foods, you know, and be intentional on it, on your kindness and on your joy. It'll bring you peace. All right, and love yourself. You know, be good to yourself. You know, be good to your family, your children, and know that God is with you. You know, I don't really push the name because I know God, our Creator, is real. So whoever you pray to, just know that the Creator of all things love you, and so do I. All right, be blessed. Bye.